Hello everyone, Ben here at Sim Racing, and we've got 15 minutes of DTM action at the Nurburgring Sprint layout here on RaceRoom coming up, and it's a fantastic race. These cars are just brilliant to drive, really quick, good aerodynamics, but you've still got to be a bit careful both on throttle and on brake. And as you can see, it's another really big grid on RaceRoom weekly ranked races. Super tight into that first corner. We managed to come through just about unscathed. We've lost a couple of positions though. So at the minute I'm just trying to think about, can I get some space on track to maybe grab some of those spots back. We dive to the inside where we just about get the car rotated, and we've managed to claw back and actually gain a couple of places through that first complex of corners. We're now into 8th place. So that's fantastic, really good start. We get a little bit of a tap from behind as we now cut where you would normally go straight ahead. On the sprint layout you take a right there, we just about hold the car and are now just trying to build a bit of a gap to the guy behind. And as you can see, there's a gaggle of cars just ahead of us as well that we want to reconnect with really over the next couple of laps, because we've made a couple of spots off the start, and now it's all about trying to push on and move forward in this race. The real theme of this race is around overtaking and attacking, trying to be aggressive with these cars into the corners, brake late, and try and make some moves and progress up the field and get some ranking points at the end of the day here in RaceRoom. The best way of doing that is to finish as high up the grid as you can. So we come around now, the end of lap 1. Pretty happy with how things have gone. We're in sitting in 8th place. We made up another spot on lap 2 as somebody retired out of the race, and now we've caught up to that next group of cars. There's 4 cars up the road here as we go heavy braking into the chicane. The guy up ahead, he's gone wide, he's going to have to take to the grass, but somebody else has gone off, so we've now got to try and thread through that incident without tagging anybody else. That could have been the end of our race there if we'd gone in and not been alert to what was going on around us, but we managed to make our way through again unscathed, and now we're up into 5th place. So it's been a fantastic opening couple of laps. In my mirrors now I can see that the yellow and green car is making a bit of a comeback. He's going to go for a late dive. We give him the room and he just about holds control of his car and takes the place. So I said this race was about attacking and about overtaking. He's just given us a great example of that there. Really brave and bold on the brakes and down the inside of that first corner. A bit marginal in terms of how far back he came from, I think. And if I hadn't given him the room, then we definitely would have had a crash. But nevertheless, I did give him the room and he's made up the spot. Another car going wide there. We get a little bit distracted by that, and I almost lose the car actually by just being a little bit too heavy on the throttle, and we've dropped another spot. So in a couple of corners we've gone from 5th back down to 7th. I'm trying to kind of make amends for that as soon as I can, but there's just no way through on that section of the course. So fast forward to the next lap, and it's now a real 3-way battle between myself, the other BMW, and the Audi, and I'm trying to put as much pressure on as I can. Not really to overtake here, but more to kind of line up a pass towards the end of the lap. You can see in my mirror there's a 4th and possibly even a 5th car looking to join this battle as well. So the key in this part of the circuit, because we're about to enter into one of the 2 DRS zones, is to be within a second of the car ahead, and then you can open the flap in your rear wing, which will essentially kill some of the downforce, the drag on your car, and you'll be able to go quicker. You can see the BMW ahead has got the into the slipstream. He dives down the inside to make the move. We just about get the car slowed down, and now we're all about, you know, how can I attack the Audi coming onto the start-finish straight. And I've got in my head at this point that move that the car had done on me a couple of laps earlier down into the first corner, and I'm thinking, am I going to be able to replicate that? Is it worth taking a bit of a long lunge into this corner? And I decide it is. So I'm down heavy into the braking zone, just about get it slowed down. All fair, but pretty firm. And now he's trying to get back at my inside, but I managed to kind of close the door on that, and we've made the place gain. Really happy with that. It was, you know, marginal, I think, in terms of whether that was going to work out, just as when we were overtaken, but we got it done, and now we're trying to make progress onto the back of the next car and try and reclaim 5th place. I should say, as you'll have noticed there, I got a pretty big bit of locking of my front brakes as I went into that overtake. And just now, you'll see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen on the tyre graphic, I maybe pay the price for that. We've got a puncture. I'll be honest, I didn't realise that could happen in RaceRoom, but I do now, because essentially we've had our race ruined at that point. We've already dropped down to 10th. I've rejoined and I'm just about back up to full speed. But as soon as we come into this braking zone into the chicane, I can't get the car turned in. We're going to have to pit in. That's going to cost us at least 20 to 30 seconds minimum. And so we're going to drop right the way down the field. And it's such a shame because the race was going so well. Really optimistic of getting comfortably into the top 10. So we get new tyres on. The advantage is they're going to be fresh tyres towards the end of the race, and they're all nicely up to temperature because they've come out the blankets. We resume in 17th place, and if I look ahead now, what's going to be possible? Well, to get back into the top 10, I've got to make up 30 seconds within the next 6 minutes. That's really unlikely to happen unless there are some big mistakes ahead. Even getting up into 14th place, 13 seconds to make up across 5 minutes, it's unlikely. So what's definite is I'm going to be able to attack 16th. So as we come onto the start-finish straight, I want to get into his slipstream, get the DRS open, and it should be a comfortable pass. I'm already quicker than this guy. I know that because I've been racing further up the field. I've got fresher tyres, so this should be a straightforward move. Nothing too wild or dangerous about that, but I nearly don't get the car slowed down, but despite that, we're through. We've got lots of space now to the car behind, and I can start thinking about getting onto the back of the guy in 15th place. Fast forward a lap or so and we've got the gap down to a second, so that has worked really well. We've reeled him in. We're driving very well on these tyres, and with no traffic we're able to just put in our best lap times. So now we're coming around again onto the start-finish straight. We're really close to the Audi, very confident of getting this move done, and actually we get such a good exit, he gets such a poor exit, we're able to get the move done before we even get to the start-finish line. So there's going to be no challenge in the braking zone. We're clean through, and now with about 2.5 minutes left, and given where we are on track, that's another couple of laps, we set about getting after the car in 14th. Remarkably, and this is just coming on to the last lap, we do actually close that gap down to a second with 1 lap to go. So we're in with a shout here. We might just get 14th place before the end of this race. This is all going to be about just keeping our calm and composure. As you see there, I nearly lost the back end of the car, which would have dashed all of our hopes, but just about held it. What I want to be doing here is putting pressure on this guy. There isn't really an obvious overtaking moment until the back end of the lap, so that's where my chance is going to come if I get one. So really is I just need to hug close to his rear end, keep the pressure on. He might make a mistake before then. If he does, brilliant, but I'm not going to try anything silly in advance of that final chicane. That's where I'm going to look to strike. So we come now into the left-hander, close right up against him, but I'm not going to go for the move here. I'm just going to hang back, even though he slows down mid-corner, and now look to get into his slipstream. I'm going to have the DRS, and then I'm going to wait to see which side he looks to defend. Does he stick to the racing line, or does he come to the inside to try and force me wide? He goes to the inside, so I go wide. We're now going to go in side by side. We brake pretty much at the same time, but the outside of the corner becomes the inside, and I'm able to get a better exit, squeeze him out slightly, but there was no contact. And brilliantly on the last lap of the race, the last corner of the race really, or the second last corner, we're able to make the move and recover to 14th place. After that, mid-race puncture essentially knocked us out of contention. So a really dramatic, exciting race. Can't say often enough, these cars are brilliant to drive. If you own RaceRoom, you haven't given them a go, I really recommend it. The weekly ranked race this week is fantastic around the Nurburgring. And despite it being another unlucky race for us, I'm pretty pleased with 14th. So I hope you enjoyed the race, and do check back for more regular RaceRoom content.